Good day. I am astrologer Lateesha Hinton with Soul Spread Wisdom, and today I want to talk to you about the upcoming full moon in the sign of Leo. It will be at 9 degrees of Leo, and the moon, of course, will be opposing the sun and Jupiter, which will both be at 9 degrees. This will be happening tomorrow, January 28th, 2021. I'm going to go through all 12 signs and just talk about the potential that you may see in your life as you experience this full moon. But before I do that, I just want to talk about the general energy that is happening. So, what we have, even now as I record this, we have Mars in the sign of Taurus. At the full moon, it will be at 10 degrees of Taurus, making a square to the Sun and Jupiter, both at 9 degrees of Aquarius. It will also be making a square to the moon at 9 degrees of Leo. So this is considered a T square because you can see uh, this triangular symbol here. So this is a lot of tension that is happening with Mars. But because Jupiter is involved here, the great beneficent Jupiter, he softens the energy of Mars that would be coming, where this would be creating, just a great amount of tension because Mars is in exile in the sign of Taurus. Um, if Jupiter were not here, would bring up so much more combative and tense energy. But what we will see happen is that whatever it is that we are trying to accomplish with this Sun Jupiter aspect here, we will find that we may have to press our way that much more because when we have a square energy, the square is the energy of Mars. So it is that we have to press in order to overcome. We have to be that much more deliberate in manifesting what it is that we want to manifest. So, in that, there may be an additional press in order to bring to fruition what we want. But because Jupiter is here, it will sweeten the pot. We will overcome and have that much more greatness added to it. So this is really a beneficial aspect for us doing during this full moon. So um, we have the moon in the sign of Leo. So all of this is fixed energy. It is a very stubborn energy that we have. But when we talk about the moon in the sign of Leo, we are talking about an energy of performance, an energy of shining. So we have the sun opposite his home sign in the sign of Leo, and then the moon is in the sign of the sun. So it is really a positive energy. Um, one that can bring us victory at the end of the day, where we may, overcome that challenge and where we will ultimately be shining, thinking about the sign of Leo, um, which is ruled by the sun. So let's talk about the sign. So let's start with Aries. So for Aries rising, Aries sun, or Aries moon people, you will be experiencing this full moon in the sign of Leo in your fifth house. So for you, this can have to do with your children. It can have to do with performance. If you have any kind of creative project that you are working on, or again, if you have children, if you are trying to get pregnant, this full moon can find you. Um, positively getting to hear what it is that you want, getting the results that it is that you want. When we think about the full moon, we're talking about an energy that lasts about 2 weeks. You can feel the energy before, a few days before the full moon itself, or, a few days after you can feel the moon, the energy of the full moon. But the energy will last up to 2 weeks. And afterwards, we have the new moon that'll be coming in. But you can expect to hear some good news about your children. You may have a child that is um, trying to accomplish something, and then there is an overcoming that your child has, and he or she is able to accomplish that thing that they are trying to do. Again, if there is a creative project or something that you've been working on, something that you've been trying to put out in the world, if you have a hobby of sorts that you are trying to bring into the world, this could be a really positive time for you. You press your way, and then with a little bit of frustration that's added in with Mars's energy, you see the positive impact on the other side of sticking with it and just pressing your way through. This can also show up for you in a love relationship, as the fifth house has to do with lovers and joyful things, speculative gain. So if you're gambling, this could be a win-win scenario for you. Very positive and fruitful for you. If you have a new love coming in, this could be a really positive time for you to experience meeting a new lover, having that perfect date. Surprisingly so, this could show up for you in that way. Okay, then when we move on to Taurus, for Taurus rising, Taurus sun, and Taurus moon people, this is falling in your fourth house. This full moon in the sign of Leo will be in your fourth house. So this has to do with your ancestral lineage. It has to do with home. It has to do with people who are living in your home, your paternal line. It has to do with family members. So this full moon can bring you some really positive results as it relates to home and family. If you are planning on a move or you need to move, it can give you the boost that you need to be able to make the changes that are necessary. You may have to, press your way a little bit. You may have to work some things out, but at the end of the day, Jupiter blesses the whole situation for you, and you ultimately feel victorious. You could find yourself, okay, moving, or if there are repairs that you need to make to the home, this can show up this way. If there's someone who is moving in or moving out of the house, you could find that there are a few challenges that are involved with the moving in or moving out, but ultimately um, you find that this was really beneficial, and you find that you are really thankful for the change that comes in this area for you. And then when we go over to Gemini rising, Gemini sun, and Gemini moon, you will have this energy happening in your third house of communication, this full moon in the sign of Leo. So for you, this could have to do with your siblings. It could have to do with short distance travel. It could have to do with a business. If there is a business that you've started up, or if you are a salesperson, this could be something that is really beneficial for you at the end of the day. It could start out where there are some challenges that you may have to overcome. You could find this happening for yourself. Again, if you are a salesperson, or if there's short distance travel involved, or if you have a small business. But if you are a person who, if you have a sibling, your sibling could be experiencing this particular energy. that is happening, where it is beneficial. Communication is heightened for you. The third house has to do with communication. So communication is heightened for you. Able to just have a good time, with the moon being here in the sign of Leo. This is a really um, great time to, go out perhaps and celebrate with your siblings if you can. I mean, I know we're having a pandemic right now, but if you can do some karaoke, I don't know, karaoke at home, sing, laugh, have a good time. The moon being in the third house, she loves being here. It is her joy. The third house is the joy of the moon. So this is really great for you, Gemini, for a time of just celebration and travel and good laughter and talking and expressing your emotions with your siblings or with others around you, neighbors, aunts, uncles, or people in your community. All right. And then when we come over to Cancer, for my Cancer rising, Cancer sun, and Cancer moon people, you're going to have this energy in your second house. The second house, the full moon will be, full moon in Leo will be in your second house. So this can impact your income. So you can see some great gains after, a little pressing your way, a little energy of overcoming. You can find that you are able to earn some extra income. You see that blessing of Jupiter coming with the sun in opposition to the moon. And you find that maybe you get a raise, or maybe if there is employment that you have been hoping for, you are able to get that job. And so for you primarily, the income and the resources are finding increase at this time, which is great. And then when we go over to Leo sun, Leo moon, and Leo rising, this will be in your first house. So this is really a beneficial energy for you. It's angular, fixed energy. So you will be experiencing this in your body. So in your body and any area of your life, because the first house is the helm. It's the helm of the chart. It's the helm. The body is the helm of your life, and how you are moving. So for you, um, in any area, it could show up that you are trying to accomplish something. There is a change that's coming because this is, it's an angular situation that's going on and it's fixed. So there is change that is happening. Mars is involved, making the square. So you are, of course, making decisions and changes as it relates to your work, yourself, your body. And partners that you are working with. So for you, partnerships of any kind. So for you, this full moon is heralding change that is coming to your life in a huge way in these areas. So, seeing big change as it relates to the type of career path that you are on and the trajectory and the people that you have around you in your life. So, as partners, in every area, friendships, all of this could be going through a change and coming to a culmination, and you even seeing yourself differently in the world. You seeing yourself in a more powerful sense, a more expressive sense with this full moon, um, able to see yourself as the Leo, as the lion that you actually are. Okay. Then when we go over to Virgo, Sun, Virgo rising, and Virgo moon, you will have this energy in your 12th house. You will have the full moon in your 12th house. So the full moon in the 12th house is really powerful as it relates to um, having those dreams that direct you which way to go. It can trigger your subconscious mind when you have the full moon happening in your 12th house. You can get those messages from your ancestors, your spirit guides, letting you know which way to go, or pointing out something for you that needs to be released, because we're talking about a full moon, something coming to a culmination, where they are giving you the direction that you have been looking for. So I would highly advise that you pay attention to your dreams during the full moon. So, the full moon itself is about culminations, and the 12th house is about releasing and letting go. So, there can be for you, Virgo rising, um, a letting go of spiritual beliefs, a new spiritual belief that is more empowering to you. This is a time that you can come into that knowledge, come into that understanding, because Mars will be in your ninth house. So this is a time that you could come into that understanding that some of the beliefs that you have had um, are not the best. And then you, through this frustration that comes from Mars, you take on a new belief, a new understanding of who you are, um, and what God looks like for you. Uranus is there too in the sign of Taurus, so you can come to this particular understanding that spirituality and how you move, should be something that is yours, something that you decide what it looks like and what it should feel like, um, and all that it means to you on a very deep, deep level, and where you are able to own it, and realizing that it's not what somebody else has to say about it. It's not what they feel about it. It's not what they think about it, but you decide what it looks like and feels like, and you come into a new understanding of what it is under this full moon. Then when we come over to Libra, you will have Libra Sun, Libra Rising, Libra Moon. You will have this full moon in your 11th house of friendships and um, groups and networking, and it's a house of rewards for the work that you've done, um, a celebration of that. And so you will have the moon here in this 11th house, which is a really nice place to have the moon. And you will experience a culmination of, again, the work that you've done. So you may find that you are receiving a reward for what it is, the work that you have done and the time that you have put in, and you may find that a part of the group, a group that you are a part of, a networking group, that they are the ones that celebrate you. You could be receiving an award, you could be receiving some type of acknowledgement from a group that you are a part of, a networking group that you may be a part of. And it may come through um, a challenge that you have overcome. But then Jupiter jumps in and blesses you for the work that you've done. And you find that you are receiving the accolades that you have been looking for. And then when we go over to, let's go over to Scorpio. Scorpio, you will be experiencing um, this full moon in your 10th house. So the Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising, Scorpio Moon, you will be experiencing this in your 10th house. So the 10th house is this house of, it's your reputation in the world. It is your career. It is how you are seen in the world by others. So the full moon here could be bringing in a culmination of, you could find a female, if you have a female boss changing positions, or something that might be changing as it relates to that female boss. She could be receiving a promotion or some kind of change career wise that you see that it impacts you, that there is a changing of the guard maybe in that arena. You could also just find that this is an opportunity for you to step into greater leadership, because when we're talking about Leo, we're talking about this sign of great leadership. So it could be an opportunity for you to realize your leadership ability, your leadership skills. When the full moon comes along, there is an ending that has happened. Mars is involved in this moon. Mars is in your seventh house right now in the sign of Taurus, and he's with Uranus right now, making a square to this moon. And so for you, this is, there are some challenges that could come from others. Just like a little agitating energy that is happening that gives you the wake up call, that pushes you to be this leader that you are and to stand in your role of leadership, to be seen by others, um, for you to be acknowledged by others in a way that you haven't been before, being seen as the leader that you truly are. And this could bring you great reward in your career and or your reputation in the world. Okay, then when we go over to Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Moon, Sagittarius Rising, you will have this full moon happening for you in your ninth house. This is the house of your beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs, foreign travel, foreign people that could come into your life, gurus, and spiritual teachers. So we're talking about this full moon in Leo and this square that is coming in from Taurus, Mars and Taurus, that's happening in your sixth house. So you could find that you are experiencing some level of agitation or aggravation that causes you to um, make a change. You could have a guru that, or teacher, a spiritual teacher that may be changing roles, or um, the relationship could be changing, and you are no longer under that particular teacher anymore. Um, if you are a teacher or professor, you could find that you are changing careers, you are changing roles. Um, you may be stepping out of that role as teacher. You could find that you are experiencing some level of travel, long distance travel. But whatever it is something that you will find that serves as a blessing to you because Jupiter is involved. So it could start out with a little aggravation, and then ultimately you find the good that comes in with it. When it's all said and done and all the smoke clears, you're thankful for it, and you feel the blessing that has come along with the change that has happened. Um, if you are part of a religious organization, you could be having changes come in that area. If you are a teacher, a spiritual preacher teacher, you could find yourself coming into more leadership in that area. Okay, and that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. And then when we move on to Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising, you will be experiencing the full moon in your eighth house. So the eighth house has to do with death, has to do with inheritance. So you could find that you are receiving an inheritance from someone who has passed away. You could experience someone who passes away. We talk about the full moon, a culmination. It could be someone who passes away, and through that challenge, you could experience getting an inheritance. Also, it could be um, your partner's finances. If you are someone who is married, there could be some initial challenge that happens with your partner's finances. Um, or if you're receiving child support or alimony or something like that, there could be some challenges that you see coming along with that, but then ultimately everything works out for your good. Ultimately, there is a blessing that happens because Jupiter is involved with Mars in this situation, because you're going to have Mars and Taurus in your fifth house of children. So, this could be something that has to do with the finances of your children getting into school and receiving financial aid. And you may have to do a little bit more paperwork because Mars is involved in the square. Uranus is there, but then suddenly, because Jupiter's involvement with the sun, suddenly you find that things work out and things come together for you financially. Okay. And then when we come over to Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Mars, Aquarius Moon, Rising, and Sun, you're going to have this full moon in your seventh house of partnerships um, and others. So for you, this could be a change that is happening in your partner's life. The change could be happening with your partner. There could be some level of frustration as it has to do with home. Um, and you find that, your partner could be asking about maybe taking a separation. This is the worst of it, right? That there could be separation or some kind of change that happens like this. Um, but ultimately, when it's all said and done, you'll realize that it was the best thing. It was the best thing for this change. If it is not that, you could find that you and your partner, you and someone that you've been dating, that you ultimately decide that you want to make a change and you want to live together, you want to partner, you want to get married, because this is the moon is opposing Jupiter and the sun. So this is an opportunity for the blessing, to come in, even though it's a full moon. That means culminations and things coming to an end. It could be an end of a cycle where you were just separate. And now you decide you want to come together, you want to live together. And it's impacted you greatly. Okay. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. And then we go over to Pisces. So for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you will have this full moon in your sixth house. So the sixth house has to do with your daily activities. It has to do with your health, has to do with your health routines, whether you go for a walk or whatever it is that you do routinely in a day, your rituals that you take on in a day. So with this full moon here, there could be a change in your diet. There could be a change in your health status. With it being in the sign of Leo, you take more ownership of your health. You begin to realize that your health and what you have health wise, it lies in your own hands with your own decisions on what you are eating and what you're putting in your body and how you are treating yourself and how you're sleeping. And if you're exercising, you begin to take on ownership of this in your life. And so it could come by way of a little bit of challenge because Mars is involved in the square. But then you realize the necessity of making the change. And when you do realize this, then um, you are able to change what needs to be changed. You walk in the strength of the this Leo energy and make the decision that your health is in your hands, and And your actions bring about something really positive and really joyful for you, because Jupiter is involved in bringing the blessings at the end of the day. So I thank you so much for listening. If you would like to contact me, you can find me at soulspreadwisdom.com. You can email me at info@soulspreadwisdom.com. And I say to you, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe O, Yod Heh Vav Heh.